Hi, everybody. Dr. Charlton here. I'm going to go through something a little bit open-ended here today. It's not a typical kind of lecture. I'm going to be showing you how I would do an exercise of coming up with ideas. We call this ideation. So it doesn't always go like super smooth. So I just want you to stick with me and maybe learn the principles, even if I get stuck on something. Understand that it's just a framework for coming up with ideas. So everything is not, perfectly rehearsed. So first of all, I have um, I have a tool here called MindMap, and this is a free tool to do what's called mind maps. So with mind maps, you can create, a circle in the middle that has your problem, and you can create a whole bunch of nodes coming out of it and branches that sort of diagnose this problem. And so we're going to kind of go through this process because we want to understand just like every different angle of how we can attack this problem. So first of all, I'm going to make up a fictitious problem. So a marketing problem. So say I have a nonprofit that is has low there's low awareness in the community. So I'm going to first of all start out by identifying this problem. And of course, low awareness in community can lead to a lot of other problems like fundraising, can be difficult, of course. So it's definitely something that you want to address. Pull it over here, and I'm going to start adding some branches. These are going to be all the aspects and causes of this problem as I kind of identify it. So I'm going to add some child nodes. So first of all, why do they have this problem? So they have low brand awareness and low awareness in the community because their name is, they have a problem with their name. Okay, so their name is confusing, hard to remember. I was going to say non-memorable. That's kind of redundant. So we'll say the name is confusing, hard to remember, and it also has gone through many changes. So you have the name itself is kind of problematic. So let's see, what other problems might we have? The other issue is we have, and actually I'm going to make these as child nodes. Here, I'm going to do this. You don't need one node that has like everything in it. So confusing, non-memorable, change too frequently. And so I'm going to and so then this cell just becomes just the name of org. Okay. So that's cleaned up a little bit. So yes, there are a lot of issues here with the name of the organization. And this is just fictitious, but these are just problems I've seen in the past. All right, so then we want to go ahead and add another problem. What's another problem? So the other issue is not only is the name confusing, but this particular organization, it's small and kind of new. So we'll say, small footprint. And so let me add some explanatory child nodes to that. So it's new. I haven't heard of it yet. Let's see what else. Why else would this small footprint be a problem? What does that problem look like? So maybe we could say also that org, let's see. So the org gets funded by the government. So the reason why that would be an issue with as far as like a footprint in the community, is if you get all your funding from the government, then you're not really out there in the community getting to know people as much. All right, so let's see, what else could be a problem? Now so I just identified a few off the top of my head, but now I'm gonna kind of go into the next phase, which is essentially we're gonna talk about over here. I'm making notes. Hopefully you can see that. So we're gonna question all of the defaults, and we're gonna question um, all assumptions. Okay, so these are two things that we're going to do that are kind of going to help us come up with more, diagnose the problem a little more. Another things, there's so many ways to look into this, but I'm just kind of going off of what information I might have. Let's see. Oops. I need to add a sibling node here. So are there issues? The logo, and we'll say, the logo it's ugly, unprofessional, stated. All right. So, and actually, that's very related to the name itself. So what I can do is I can group those both under the same the same thing. So if I have brand, hopefully I can drag this over here. There we go. Okay, so then you have all this stuff under the brand. That's a problem. Let's see. What are my assumptions? So at this nonprofit, they assume that they have to go directly to the community. But what about partnering? Maybe that could be an issue, right? They have a lack of community partners, and actually that's going to be under small footprint. I'm going to move that. Okay. So, and then why do they, and then you can keep making these longer. So why do they have a lack of community partners? They say they have no time to network. Let's see what else. Small footprint. No dollars to host events. And then what else? Why else do they not have community partners? I think because they're just isolated. They don't get out there and talk to people. So you can see I've kind of diagnosed this problem quite a bit. And you could do this a lot more. I could keep going on and on, but I don't want to waste your time. I'm just trying to show you this tool. Definitely think about what are all the assumptions and the defaults. So just because they do something a certain way, if you keep doing it that same way, then you're going to run into problems. So you want to question those defaults. So if they say, oh, our fundraising, we do all our fundraising this way at this one event, one time per year, that's all our fundraising. Well, then you have to think like, why? Why does it have to be that way? What other ideas could we look at? And so you want to question that default. Just because they always do it that way doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. And then they have, there are assumptions. Like we assume that if we do an in-person event, it will lose money. But so pick that apart and see if it really will. Is there any way to make that work? So you're questioning the defaults, meaning, you're you're looking at, how they always do things, and seeing if you can do it a new way. Just totally change it. And then you're questioning the assumptions. So that's kind of gives you a broad general idea of how to kind of create new ideas. And so then the next step is I want to go ahead and do a similar mind map to in order to identify a solution. So let's see if I can add a. So I'm going to do a solution one, and then hopefully I can move this out here. I'm not going to spend as much time on this one, but because you kind of get the idea. But let's see. So solution, then we can go through all the routes to solve this. Okay, so what about like networking in the community, getting involved, get involved with other orgs and causes, so you can show up and support these other causes. What about like social media? So you're trying to find ways to get more involved. What about press? Is there any way we can work the press, get some press? Maybe you have a story about. The press is always looking for a story, right? Do you have a story about your org and the impact it's making, or or does your org have like a, is it related to current events? Like if you work with youth, are youth in the news right now? And then maybe you can get a little press and get a little more notice that way. So again, you can see, just like with the solution, you can keep building this out, coming up with all different kinds of ideas. This is a method of ideation called the mind map. And when you get stuck, I just encourage you to look at all aspects of what they're doing and how they're doing it, and question them all and try to see how you can. So that's all I have for that. So let me know if you have any questions, and have fun trying it out. Hopefully you'll enjoy it and it will be a useful tool for you. Thanks. Bye.